you everyone for coming today. I appreciate the support. And today is also International Peace Day, and it's also Green March in New York City. Is that the proper name for it? The Green March?
It's the Climate March.
Say it again?
The World Climate March.
World Climate March.
I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Yeah. And so with us today, I'd like to introduce the panel. To my right,
I'm Bridget, and I'm an artist, a painter specifically,
and a colorist.
and a colorist.
And
I'm Gabriella. I'm a small business owner, and I also do community meditations.
I'm Ani, and I'm an author and a psychic.
And I'm Peter, a healer, poet, and musician.
And my name is Laura, and I'm a horticulture therapist.
Thank you, everyone. Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about why I wrote the book. Initially, I wrote it for my children because they did not know that their father and I were once very in love. They didn't know that piece, and I thought they should know it. I thought it would be helpful. So I wrote that piece, and I showed it to a few friends, and they said, "This is great, we want more." So I continued writing more about my journey. And after, the ideal American family blew up, then I had my challenges, my journey. I went back to school, I got my BA, I got my master's, I was teaching. And I speak about my challenges in that rough time, which is all part of growth. And it was all a gift. And then how I arrived here, which is the name of the book, that now I'm at a place of peace. And I'm very happy. How I arrived here, not only in Florida, but psychologically and emotionally. I'm in a place of beauty and peace. And I'm very grateful. And I'd like my words to contribute so other people could know you too can do this. If I can do it, anyone can do it. This book is for men and women of all ages. You can start right where you are. You can do it. Yes, you can. So that's why I wrote the book. So I'd like to hear from some of the panel now. Feel free to jump in at any moment. And what you got out of the book, why you think it would be helpful to other readers.
Well, I guess I'll start. One of the things that, and there's certain, in any book, there's certain chapters and there's certain parts of the book that rings a certain personal chord. And a part of that was specifically the segment or chapter on divorce. Being a divorcee, I responded and related to that. And divorce as it affects your children and the long-term effects. And by writing the book, I think not only was it cathartic for you and provided a certain emotional and spiritual growth, but what you gave your children. And it was a gift to them, and I see it as a tangible, intangible gift. Oftentimes, when you're going through a divorce, as painful as they frequently are, you don't have the type of conversation or interaction with your children about suffering and pain that you are going through. And I think this opened that experience to them on a different level than maybe they had in the past at the time. So I was very, impressed with that, and I found that very helpful.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes?
For me, what I really appreciated was there's this sense of rawness and purity and just such truth that I connected with. I felt like I was you in certain moments when I was reading it. Early on, the humor and just there's such character to it. And seeing you as someone I can look up to, someone that, I admire that, you're seeing your journey and where you're at, you've arrived. And I've, gone through my own struggles, different generations, but, we're all human and we all go through our, like, ups and downs in life. And being able to connect, like, on that human, level is just really awesome. And I love you for it, for, being an example for doing what you do.
I really enjoyed the book. My parents split when I was young, and I was in 6th grade, something like that, and didn't have any clue as to why. There was always
Is that a split physically or a split up?
they
divorced?
divorced. Yeah, they divorced, and I wasn't ever informed as to the whys. I was always aware of some arguing, but I was too young to really pay attention to any of it or know what it meant. So I related in that way to reading it, and having met you only a year or so ago, it was nice to see where you've come from, and it's refreshing and a nice reminder that we all have this big history that's very personal and intimate, but also not so different from everyone else.
And do you think that other men would appreciate this book on any type levels?
If they have a sense of humor, that's going to go a long way, because as Gabriela was saying, your personality really comes through on it, and so being receptive to that is a good start.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah. Well, on top of that, yeah. A man that's ready to look at the other side of the coin, I suppose. Ready to look at alternatives. It's very easy to get ego-centered, and opening up to especially a feminine side is important for anyone's growth. So take a lot from, you're a good example to look at.
I guess I could piggyback on what a lot of our panelists have already said. So a common theme is our personal journeys and divorce, and I met Ani by living next door to her after my divorce, and she was hugely instrumental in helping me on my journey. And what I liked about the book was what Gabriela said. It's like really raw, it's very human, and what other panelists have noted about Ani is that she has such a light spirit and a lot of moxie. She makes hard times, she can almost find the fun in any kind of crisis or challenge, and that's what I've really taken away from Ani's book. And Ani really walks the walk. She models everything that she talks about, so there's a lot of integrity.
And how about growth? Anybody want to speak to that? Because after you go through that divorce thing, then there's like, all right, back to square one. I'm how old, and I have to like make a life for myself.
Well, you've done it so that others might not have to. There's a lot of wisdom that comes through reading this and exploring that perspective. It can also be a testament that there is grass on the other side. It might be way over there,
Yeah.
but it is there, and that's hopeful.
It is, because when I was writing this book, I'd forgotten many of these struggles. When they're behind you, please, you never want to look at them again. But my dear friend Laura over there was going for her master degree, is that correct? And going through some challenges and struggles, and it reminded me, brought me right back when I was there, and that's when I wrote about going for my degrees, my struggles. And recently I connected with a friend who I knew at that time, and he said, I bought your book, I read it, and I didn't know all that was happening when we were working together. Because, you know, when you're working, you have to like hold it together. That was a professional relationship. So it was very cathartic for me, to say the least. So how does that seem, Al? Good? You got enough?
That's good.
Yeah, you may have to go with that.
Yeah.